Hey, welcome to Toaden Talk Box, which is a little odd today because we're using a different program. This is on Streamline Buzzer, and I'm talking to Eleanor, who just wrote an article for Streamline Buzzer about Open Diary. OpenDiary.com was, well, still kind of is for the next few days, but it was pretty much the first site dedicated to the blogging community. Before Blogger, before LiveJournal, before all that. So, Eleanor, tell us more. Tell us how you got started or your first entry in Open Diary.
Um, it was New Year's Day. I'm a professional palm reader, have been for 20 years, and I was reading a woman's palm. She was so intoxicated she could not keep her eyes open, and she said, "Read my palm." So I told her that she had the same relationship problems happening over and over again, and that she wouldn't stop having that relationship problem complex until she felt that she was worthy of better. So she said, okay. And I saw her the next time, and she had her eyes open. And she said, I met a man. He's a great man. We're going to go to Florida and live happily ever after. And I didn't see her again for 5 months. And she had her eyes closed. She said, read my palm. And I said, he took you to Florida, he took your stuff, and he hit you over the head with it. And she said, yes. Thought I was psychic and asked me for advice past that. And I said, you should be gay. That was the entry.
So, what are your feelings now that the site's being shut down?
Um, I would say that at one point in time, just like yourself, it meant a lot more than it has to me recently because Facebook has really kicked its ass, something more impersonal. And that's what's really closing down Open Diary. And that in itself is a shame.
Yeah, I myself left Open Diary for MySpace because it did have a blog feature before MySpace decided to keep changing on itself again and again and again. And I actually kept posting videos on MySpace until you can no longer search for independent videos or bands. I don't know how it is now, but reading the article you wrote on Streamline Buzzer, there's a lot of connections. Online communities really share a lot of different things because as I read this, I would be saying a lot of the similar emotions if YouTube went down or Facebook or Twitter or Google Plus or any other social sites that I currently use and have established friends in a community.
Yep, you're exactly right. Because there was a lot more of an anonymity in Open Diary.
Mm-hmm.
I never was computer smart enough to find out how many people were at my diary every day, just that I could write what I wanted, and if I only wanted certain people to see it, then that would be chosen or show the world. And you just can't do that at all on Facebook or any of the other sites. You don't have control.
Do you think the communities are going to survive, like jump ship to another site at all?
They already have in Box, and there is another site underway that is supposed to duplicate Open Diary as much as possible.
I'm going through these Facebook groups that are emerging for Open Diary, and not mentioned through my own contacts, and I'm noticing more and more authors that have made something of themselves from when I first read it. I know the first author of the first diary, I noticed that she is actually some kind of a public face, and well, I know what company she is. I'm not going to say the company out loud, but a pretty big company that I've actually done some freelance for. And it's kind of amazing how who's involved in this because you look at Facebook, like, okay, everyone's in Facebook, you know. Then you look at YouTube, and if you see your friends on YouTube, there's kind of a taboo on there, like, are they doing something stupid? Are they trying to do a show? What was the stigmata on Open Diary? Because a lot of people looked at that like it wasn't an actual blog, like it was more of a diary, like, more of a place to share
It
your
was more
thoughts.
of a diary. I never read her diary, and Um, I knew a boy that was on the Oprah show that had a diary, Thrifty Nickel, for weight loss.
What is the biggest thing that amazed you about the community? And it could be anyone in particular. It could be just be something you saw somebody did.
It would be how different everybody was, and you loved them sincerely
You,
by being able to read their innermost thoughts and picturing their accent in your head and always getting it right.
do you think Open Diary changed after Facebook became popular? And if yes, how?
People stopped writing there as much on Open Diary. Facebook really did. I don't know what that represents or suggests about humanity, but it is sad. Facebook really did overrule and take out Open Diary. Do you agree with that?
I feel like it was Facebook and Open Diary are just really different types of social sites. And
They are.
yeah, I felt MySpace, which is much more what I felt MySpace was a bigger competitor because MySpace had that blog capability. It was you had the blogs in there as well as the wall and bulletins and all this other stuff, and it was still anonymous until Facebook started blowing up, and then it changed all that. Then it was no longer anonymous and slowly became Facebook. So I thought MySpace was a big Open Diary killer myself.
I was on MySpace before Facebook, so yes, you're right. It was the evolution
Now where's
of
Friendster
inhumanity.
play into this? Start talking about Friendster and High Five and all the other things are no longer around. But Open Diary lasted longer than a lot of those. I mean, I was amazed how long it was open. You know, Open Diary lasted from 1998, like October 98, I think, to now and 2014. That's a big deal. That was long before everybody was online. That was long before everyone and their mom had a profile somewhere and embraced online communities. I mean, like, oh, don't give your real name out there. Be anonymous. You know, don't believe anything you read. Why are you being friends with these people? I mean, there was a lot of taboo in it. And I really think that this is something that deserves a little research. I mean, when someone looks back and try to figure out where online blew up, Open Diary is at least a footnote. I mean, that was where the bloggers started mingling into before LiveJournal. So I feel every social site that came they had to look at Open Diary and see how they did it. When I started YouTube, I looked at Open Diary and see what I did to get so many people to read my diary and leave comments and stuff, and applied those methods to YouTube. Now some work, some don't work, you know. It's just very different times and mentalities. But when I'm reading what people are writing, how the way they felt about Open Diary in the community, it's the exact same thing that people write about on YouTube and Twitter and all these other social sites. And I think that's important to see that there's communities at other places, and you know, hopefully a lot of these friendships are going to stay, which I'm sure they are, you know, because I've moved from one site to another site, and it seems like the circles, seems like, yeah, there's some drop off in people's personal circles, but also emerges and becomes bigger. But I also feel like that's a natural evolution too, because you don't keep the same online circle every year. You know, every year there seems to be people dropping off and more coming on. Eleanor, thank you so much for meeting up with me. I think everybody should go and read the article. It puts in facts about Open Diary. And honestly, it really does relate to the other social media things that are going on. And I won't call them fads because it ain't going nowhere. If something ended, people are just going to jump to another site. You know, and this includes any site you think of. I don't think YouTube's going to go anywhere, but hey, let's say it does go. Someone's going to move somewhere, and those circles
Stay
are
in
still going to be
contact.
around.
Stay in contact.
Yes.